We are celebrating NATO's 75th anniversary, and I'm here with Thomas Erndl, Deputy Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the German Bundestag. And we want to speak about three topics: international security and NATO role, Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, and the future of the transatlantic security relationship. So, Mr. Erndl, NATO celebrates its 75th anniversary. How do you see the alliance changing to deal with the new global security threats, especially cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, while keeping member states united?
Yeah, NATO is a defense organization, but it's not just the sum of military capabilities. It's indeed necessary to have a look at new challenges, and I think especially when we talk about cyber and also new technology, it's really important to join forces, to collaborate even more. But I think NATO is really well equipped. It's important to have continued talks, work on the political cohesion. But I think we did well in the last 75 years, and we are well positioned also for the future on these new challenges, on these new topics.
Perfect. And now, given Russia's ongoing aggression in Ukraine, what additional measures should NATO and its member states, particularly Germany, take to strengthen defense on the eastern flank and to support Ukraine? What do you think?
Well, I think first we need to continuously support Ukraine on financial aid, on ammunition, on weapons. We shouldn't limit ourselves in providing weapon systems. So I'm also in favor of providing very precise cruise missiles. In the end, Russia also has no limits, and therefore we shouldn't limit us and the Ukraine on that as well. Going forward, we are not delivering enough. We need to align our deliveries on the goals we set. So we said Ukraine must win. There is no other way. And do we really provide everything so they can win? I doubt that, or the result on the battlefield is not showing that at the moment. Therefore, we need to ramp up production, get faster, provide more, take more partners into account. That's really crucial. Having said that, I think it's also important to see that the war is now different than 2 years ago. Innovation, drones, new technology plays a role. So we need to support Ukraine on these topics as well.
Mm. And now the future of the transatlantic security relationship, looking ahead at the transatlantic security relationship, what steps should Germany take to ensure a strong partnership with the United States within NATO, but also how can we address the challenges posed by differing political defense priorities between European and American allies?
We just talked about Ukraine. From a European perspective, we need to be very thankful for the US support. Mm-hmm. It's first of all European issue, of course, with the global spread, but first of all a European issue, and therefore Europe needs to take more burden on Ukrainian support. Generally, we see that there's not just a burden sharing necessary, but also a burden shifting when it comes to European security. Europe needs to do more, and Germany is the most powerful, economic powerful country in Europe. Therefore, Germany is in the lead to take a bigger share on that. Having said that, it's not just the question of money and burden shifting, but it's also, I think, the political will to turn words into action. I think we were not very good in that in the past, so Germany needs to take also a different leadership role within Europe.
Just one last question, but only now we have discussed for about 8 hours now about the future of NATO, also on the eve of the NATO meeting tomorrow in Washington. What do you take home? What is your resume of this day?
Well, 75 years NATO is a success story. The Cold War was ended because of the strength of NATO, but it's now going for really much more difficult to keep up the political cohesion, to have really all 32 member states align on everything. We saw with the accession of Sweden and Finland that it took a long time until Hungary and Turkey was convinced going that step. So these are challenges we need to address, we need to overcome, and it can only happen in talking and get together, and therefore this summit is also important, but it's also important to address these new challenges, new technologies, new threats, cyber, but also the question of influence into our societies, fake news, etc., influencing elections, etc. I think these are all things also NATO needs to take into account. So a lot of work ahead of us, but since we were successful in the last 75 years, I'm convinced we will manage our security, and NATO is really the engine of our freedom, will prevail in the future as well.
Thank you so much also for this positive view. Thomas Erndl, Deputy Chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee in the Deutschen Bundestag. I was very happy to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.